Steve Armstrong. I'm an instructor with SANS. I've been doing that for now 3 years. And as another side, I also work as a company director for Certified Digital Security, ensuring outsourced data for large organizations. Computers are suffering this great phenomenon of market explosion now, which is going to increase their target surface. Virus writers are always out there to look at how they can exploit your data, how they can get access to your data. As Macintoshes are now getting large market exposure, we're expecting to see a large increase in the number of viruses that are going to be available for Macintoshes. People have got them, people have got access to them, people are using them at home and now seeing how they work as to how they can bend them to their own will. I think companies, to protect the users against social networks, need to educate them. They need to ensure that the user understands the risks so the user is empowered to make the decision as to whether or not he should post information. Companies cannot go down the old school of you cannot use Facebook, you cannot use LinkedIn, and you cannot use these other social networking sites, because these are now business tools. You need to get your message out on Web 2.0. Your users and your customers expect to see this. You've got to manage it, you've got to train people, and you've got to educate them as to how to do it safely. Oh, malware evolution has gone through phenomenal sort of changes. It's moved from the standard email-based type distribution mechanism now to going through Facebook type pages where people are using Web 2.0. It's now evolving to what customers do. It's becoming more intelligent, it's becoming a lot smarter, and it's been driven at tricking people's minds so that they actually are encouraged to install it and download it rather than necessarily as before technologically attacking the system. Poor configuration adds to this because the users, if they have a bad or weak system, if they're not trained and educated as to what is bad, they're going to just follow the malware and install it as a legitimate program. Companies do need to wake up to the idea that smartphones contain a lot of personal data. It is now not just a phone, it's now a personal computer. We need to understand that. They need to, again, educate the users as to where they should and should not use the phone. They need to take precautions and maybe limit the data that goes on the phone, or at least look at PIN codes, passcodes, possibly encryption, and at absolute minimum have the ability to remote wipe the device if you need to. Staying safe online is all about education. It's all about knowing where you are and knowing when you're in a good place or a bad place. Every city has a bad part of it, and most people in the city know where that bad part is. If you have users who are on the internet who don't know where the bad parts of the internet are, they're going to stumble into that neighborhood, and at that point they're at risk. So by teaching people good sites to go to, hints and indicators that they're on safe sites, padlocks, encryption, and profiles and other verification tools that allow you to say this is the BBC site or this is a good site. We need to train people to use these so they become more aware as to where they're walking on the internet. Virus writers write programs because they're after your data. They're after your information on your laptop. They're trying to get access to what you have there, which is your credit card details, your banking details. That's what they're after. The internet, all this fraud stuff and all virus writing, it's about money. That's what's driving people. These are not teenagers sitting in their back rooms writing viruses. These are now organized criminals using viruses to deliver payloads, to capture users' banking details, to then siphon money out of their accounts. People have to wake up to the idea that the internet attacks are now money-based. It is intelligent, it is targeted, and it is going to get worse. They need to learn how to spot the signs as to when they're being attacked and know when emails are bad, websites are bad, and stay away from them. A company facing a cyber attack needs to plan ahead. When the attack starts, you're already in the too late phase. You need to have planned incident response. If you have a very small budget, you need to at least know who you can call, what skills they need to have, and what steps you need to do. When an incident starts, that's when people's thinking stops and they go into damage limitation, which is not necessarily the right plan. What you need to do is, before you end up with a cyber attack, is to sit down with your administrators. You need to plan out how you'll respond. You need to get the right tools and the right equipment there, so when the cyber attack happens, you know how to switch off your firewall, how to isolate services, how to control the problem that you have quickly and efficiently, having taken the decisions already when everything's nice and calm. Don't rely on heat of the moment decisions, because those are probably going to be draconian, and they're going to be terminate the internet connection, which is not good for business. We need to be able to continue to do business while controlling the incident as it's going on. I think for UK businesses, the most damaging cyber threat is one that they don't detect. The all-out attack, denial of service against their website, against their internet connection is easy for them to detect. The threat that has come in via somebody downloading some malware, maybe getting themselves a sort of a Web 2.0 type piece of malware installed on their laptop that is siphoning information out of the network, for a long-term attack of 6 months, 7 months, that's damaging because the organization hasn't instigated lockdown, hasn't instigated any incident response, and therefore they're just losing information completely unbeknown to them. That's going to have long-term damage, going to lose customer confidence, and ultimately could result in the business becoming unprofitable and terminating.